Somebody who knows more basketball than John Leone knows, than I know, or Dan Mowdy knows, is sitting with Dan Mowdy on the Farmers Insurance Halftime Report. Here's Dan with Pat Fisher.
Well, Gary, it's always an honor to have the 21-year head coach of Lafayette women's basketball, Pat Fisher, here at courtside, and especially on this occasion sitting right next to me here. Pat Fisher, welcome back to the Lafayette Sports Network.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about the origins of women's basketball here. Now, you were not the first coach here, but I think a lot of folks would be surprised to know that basketball didn't start here at Lafayette until 1972.
Right. Well, I wasn't around then, so I don't know how much I can tell you about that, but I do know how I ended up here. I was asked by the women's SWA at that time, who used to teach with me at the high school. They had an opening for the softball position and asked me if I would come up because they're having a hard time getting somebody, and they didn't want the coach they had back. It was a guy. So I said, sure, I'll try it. I was a little bit reluctant because, you know, I'm so competitive with my kids that I thought, this is a girls' team. If they're out there to have fun, I'm not going to be able to handle this. But I was completely surprised. They were very, very good. Some very good athletes passed through here while I was here. And so when I felt that for the first, I think I was here 1 or 2 years for softball, and then the position for the basketball opened up full time. So I went for it and got it.
Fantastic. I look back at the record book here, and that first year, your Lafayette Leopards made it to a playoff game, the AIAW contest.
That's how it was. There was no NCAA. For the men had that, but eventually they were trying to work at the women in too. Now, there was a lot of controversy about it, but not being on the collegiate scene that long, I wasn't really into it. But I thought it was the best move.
Sure. Now, before the Patriot League existed, there was the Colonial League. Before the Colonial League existed, there was the East Coast Conference. And in your third season here at Lafayette, you were able to bring this team not just to the playoffs, but to the semifinals to play LaSalle, which was a part of that East Coast Conference.
Right. And then right after that, we started, I was getting used to the recruiting then. You know, I knew what I wanted, but you couldn't always find them because at that time we were a base need. We didn't have scholarships like they have today, so it was a little bit tricky finding the people. But when we got to the players like Cacinello and McManus and Mowens and Caruso, yeah, well then things started looking up because then I could do a lot of things that I couldn't do with the other people. So we got to be very, very successful in the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. And then what was happening is the other teams in the Patriot League were starting to offer the scholarships, and Lafayette still wasn't doing that. So it's very difficult to try to coach against those teams, but you know, we had our own. But you had to go out and define yourself about what kind of player you wanted, who was able to come here and contribute and still be athletic and yet academically minded.
So grades, absolutely. But we all know Beth Mounds was part of your program, and she continues on that Lafayette basketball tradition and heritage with ESPN. And I know there are so many others that you are proud of doing so great work in different walks of life.
Well, a lot of them, I was surprised. A lot of players that I had went into coaching. I mean, Beth Moans would have been an excellent coach. She was like a coach on the floor for me. But, I mean, we had Stacy Cacinello was into coaching for a while. Maud McManus is now coaching her daughter on the high school team, and I'm trying definitely to get her down here because she's going to be a pretty good player. And Therese O'Connell was coaching, Lori King was coaching, and well, they did get Therese O'Connell's daughter here, so she'll be here next year to play. But down the line, I think that says a lot for myself because I feel that whatever I taught through them, they were able to pick up and develop on your own. And there's still sometimes, like the man has just called me the other day, wanted to review over what we were doing here. I says, now you got a high school team. It's a little bit different, but these are the things that you could do with them. Sure. Yeah, so.
Well, Pat, you're a great part of the fabric here at Lafayette College when it comes to basketball or just campus life in general. It's always great to see you here for the games, and we appreciate you joining us here at halftime.
I enjoy being here. I would never never leave Lafayette. I miss the coaching, but I don't miss the recruiting.
That's often a tough time of the year for sure. Pat Fisher, 21 years, the head coach of Lafayette College women's basketball, and a winning record with 295 wins. Now back to you guys.